community radio for Brentwood and Billericay. This is Phoenix FM.
As we all know, he's no longer with us, but the music lives on, and it lives on in the form of the George Harrison Project as well. Now, they're a UK-based tribute band dedicated to celebrating the music of George Harrison, both from his time with the Beatles and his solo career, including his work with the Travelling Wilburys. The band is known for delivering an authentic and heartfelt live experience, and I can attest to that myself, having seen them a couple of times. Absolutely great show, performing hits such as Here Comes the Sun, Something, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, My Sweet Lord, All Things Must Pass even, and Handle With Care. On the 10th of July this year, the George Harrison Project will be appearing locally at the Chelmsford Theatre, and today we're going to hear some of the live performances they delivered in that theatre last year. First of all, though, let's meet the band. Hi, guys.
Hi, Bob.
They're all here, ready and eager and willing and all that stuff. Let's meet you individually, first of all, though. We'll start with Gary Kenton, who's on lead vocals, rhythm guitar and ukulele. Gary, you're the front man of the band, and you back the music up with some interesting facts and stories about George. Would you call yourself a Harrison expert, a sort of mastermind level chap?
No, probably not. I have had to do a lot of research with regards to the show, so my learning curve has kind of grown all the time, so I'm finding out things all the time. I mean, obviously I know quite a bit about him now because I've had to find it out, but I'm not mastermind level, no.
Then we got Alan Gifford. Now, Alan's on drums and percussion. He's played concert halls and theatres and many high-quality venues across Europe, including the Royal Albert Hall and the Royal Festival Hall in London. We've got musical royalty here, haven't we? So, playing the drums with the band, do you try to reproduce the drum tracks on the original recordings, or do you add a bit of your own style to the music?
Well, that's a good question. I think for all of us, we like to be as authentic as possible and as true to the songs as possible.
Yeah.
But of course, we don't have as many musicians as was the case, or as many instruments. From my point of view, a lot of my career was orchestral, so I played a lot of percussion. So I like to add a lot of percussion to my drumming style, which is why I use tambourines and woodblocks and cowbells and even the bell part of the ride cymbal as well. You can get a different sound from that part of the ride than you can from another part of the ride. So basically, it's a bit of a blend. I try to be as true as possible, but I try to add my own percussion influence on it as well.
Yeah, fascinating. What about when you're being Ringo? Because he was a left-hander, wasn't he? Is that difficult?
He was a left-handed...
Or is. Sorry, I beg his pardon.
Drummer,
is.
Using a right-handed kit. Yeah. So it's difficult sometimes. So when we're learning a song, what I tend to do is listen to the song over and over again. I'll listen to the bass drum bit, then I'll listen to the snare drum bit, then I'll listen to the toms, then I'll listen to the hi-hat. Okay. And when I listen to what he's doing, I try and replicate that. And sometimes I'll do what he does, which is start a fill with my left hand. Okay. And sometimes I might have to miss a beat, and sometimes I just have to play it exactly as the rhythm should be. But the main thing with Ringo is putting the feel into it. You've got to put feel and a bit of light and a bit of heart from time to time.
There's more to this music than us non-musicians realise, isn't there? Then we'll move on to Dave Shallow, bass guitar, and not only that, a double bass on one particular track, I think. You say on your website that although you never had the opportunity to see George Harrison perform live, the Beatles, the Travelling Wilburys and his solo albums have had a big influence on your musical tastes. How do you think the music has affected your own performance, Dave?
I think the same as Al, really. You try and keep it as authentic a feel as possible. Yeah. But you can't help letting a little bit of your own sort of style and own choices. There's space in the music to kind of put in little fills that you would imagine that the live performances that the band would do would put in. And so you have that little bit of freedom of expression then to add your own.
I suppose you don't really just want to be mechanically reproducing notes. You want to add something to it a little bit. Yeah, very good. Al, otherwise known as AJ, lead guitar and ukulele. Also, you're the band's Eric Clapton, really, aren't you?
Eric clapped out,
yeah. So what have you learned about George's guitar playing from your time with the project?
I've learnt that George is a far better player than I'll ever be.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think he's considered as being one of the best slide players ever.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to replicate that, especially as I didn't play slide guitar
Right.
before I joined the band.
Okay.
So I had to spend some time going through and learning how to do that, in my own way.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's not only is some of the chords you play that that are in the songs are very strange. The structures of the song can be quite strange.
Okay.
Trying to keep up with that, but and then having to put slide in as well.
Yeah.
And think, oh, there's a slide part coming up. Help!
Do you think he was sort of underestimated?
Absolutely,
as a lead
he
guitarist?
really was. Yeah, and I think people are only finding that out now, going back and listening to his songs.
Sure.
You know.
Smashing. All right, thank you. And then we move to Phil Toms, keyboard, piano and double bass. Phil has been a fan of the Beatles and was inspired by the use of orchestral arrangements and Indian music crossover. In addition to being a performer, a composer, arranger and educator, Phil is internationally renowned as an authority on Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells. And you have your own Tubular Bells project, don't you, Phil? Would you like to give us a bit of information about that?
Well, it's great playing with this George Harrison band. I get to play the keyboards, usually with a piano in one hand and a Hammond organ in the left, but also saxes and the bells and whistles. And then when I've got my other hat on for Tubular Bells Live, that's a similar sort of thing where we take the music of Mike Oldfield and do it authentically, but with enough music, let it breathe. So
Yes.
it's not just listen to they could put the album on if they wanted to, but we want to make it come alive. So yeah, we take the music that's there, we pay tribute to it, but we want to make it come alive for the audience. The audience get involved with the George Harrison, singing along with My Sweet Lord and the like as well. Yeah, but I do like the arrangement side, George Martin's classic Beatles arrangements and Jeff Lynne's work later on, but trying to juggle all the instruments on the keyboard to fill in the gaps between the guitars.
Fantastic. Well, I don't know how you do it as someone who's got no musical talent whatsoever, but there you go. There's also an unseen member of the band who's just as important, your technical manager, Andy, who looks after the sound and visual elements, which is a big part of the show, really. Tell us about Andy, Gary, can you?
Yeah, well, sure. Well, obviously, Andy's got a really important role, and
Yeah.
his role really can start several weeks before we even get to the venue.
Right.
Because he needs to establish what the venue have got as far as the technical equipment. So
Okay.
everything from the PA to the lighting rig to everything else, Andy will discuss that with them, even down to arranging for risers for, Al and Dave, for instance, on the stage.
Sure, yeah.
Also, he's checking out access for us, for the band, before we get there, regards parking, regards in and out from the stage, etc. If there's anything that we need to be aware of, Andy's got to find all that
does
out.
a
That's
bit of
really his
everything.
job role.
Yeah.
And that's before he even starts. Actually sort of, actually plugging everything in and sort of doing all the levels for us and everything else. And again, all the time he's collaborating with the lighting crew, technical crew there, to make sure everything's going well at the front of the house.
Because an important part of your show is the audio visual. So who puts all that together? Is that Andy? Or?
It's actually Al's puts all
I
the.
do most of that.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
He does all the. He does all that, don't you?
Bit
Al?
of research and put the videos together. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's brilliant and a great part of the show.
We've got this wonderful voice that introduces us as well.
Sounds very familiar.
I don't know who that is. No. And you've just told me there's another member of the band called Ray who sits in for Phil, or how does it work? I don't know.
Yeah, well, obviously Phil's very busy. He's got Tubular Bells as well as George Harrison projects. So Ray actually steps in for Phil when Phil's not about, and he's a fantastic keyboard player as well. We'll be seeing him in a couple of weeks' time. But he was hopefully going to be able to try and make it today, but he's just too busy today.
shame.
So it's a
All
bit of a shame.
We
So,
can't be in the same room at the same time.
Well, big shout out to Ray then. Look, I think it's time we heard some music, don't you? We got some great recordings today, and they were recorded live at the Chelmsford Theatre last year, I believe. So really are an authentic reproduction of what you can expect to hear from the band at one of their live shows. So let's start with a George solo song. This is Give Me Love. Oh, yes, a very appreciative audience there enjoying George Harrison's Give Me Love, performed by the George Harrison Project. What great recording that is. Now, you guys, I want to talk about all the touring you do. You're all over the place. You've got very busy, haven't you? You travel to venues across the length and breadth of the country. For example, in just 8 days next month, you're appearing in Peterborough, Consett, Chelmsford, Winchester and Shoreham. That's a very busy schedule. Gary, can you talk us through about how that all works, the travelling, transportation of equipment, setting up, performing and packing away and all of it?
It's not far short of a military operation.
I'll bet, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it starts with Al. Al actually gets the theatre bookings.
Yeah.
And then obviously Andy then establishes a relationship with the technical people there. And then it's down to us to obviously get there. So we all travel independently. Generally, bring everything with us equipment-wise, including wives and partners, because, again, they do have a very important role for us. Right. We have Lena, Dave's wife, who sorts out all the hotel bookings for us for a start.
Wow, yeah.
And we've got the other ladies, my wife Sharon, April, who's Al's partner, and then we've got Di, and also Tani, when Ray's here as well, comes along to help. They do all our merchandise at the front of house, which is a really, really important role because they're the first person they meet from the band, and obviously they're talking to them in the breaks and everything. So feedback and everything else, as well as selling them product, we get to hear all that as well, which is fantastic.
And they help us pack up at the end of the night.
They do.
Brilliant.
We've got them well trained.
That's one big happy family then. That's really good.
It's a working family. It's a real team effort all the way
brilliant.
around. Yeah,
Brilliant. Well, so you haven't sort of reached the stage of travelling in a six-wheeler with a lorry and all the equipment in and a roadie crew to set up or anything like that?
No, not quite there yet, I don't think.
Well, you mentioned hotels then, so you kind of stay out. You don't come back to Essex after every show?
No, with the economics of it, obviously if we've got, a 300-mile journey, and as I say, if we've got 2 or 3 days, that could invariably be 500 or 600 miles that we're travelling anyway. Yeah. So it's a lot of road work, so to speak. So the economics of it and the obviously just to give yourself some time to recover is far, far better to stay in a hotel.
Stay out, yeah, absolutely, I get it. Now I've been to a couple of your shows, really enjoyed them, and the audience reaction has always been fantastic. How much does that add to the pleasure of your performing?
Oh yeah, I mean we'll really sort of enjoy that, don't we? I think that does lift you as a performer.
Yeah.
If you're getting that reaction coming back, it lifts you automatically as well. It just makes everything more, gives you that sort of extra bit of energy when you need it. Yeah. But it's lovely to, as I say, to sort of hear the feedback from them as well. We do meet and greets afterwards, and that's lovely to talk to people afterwards.
There's often a gasp or I love that song sort of thing when you start, when Gary does one of his little intros, I guess what the song is, but then when you start playing, Here Comes the Sun or something, then they're like, oh wow, I love that, oh that means so much, and then they're often dancing at the end.
Yeah, brilliant.
And sometimes it's not always the songs you expect either. Sometimes it could be an album track. You hear somebody go, whoa, which is fantastic. So the type of people we are attracting along now really do know, a lot about his discography, and it's they always sort of asking for tracks that we don't even know.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And we have people coming back time and time again to come and see us as well.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we've had a couple from Wisconsin in the USA come back to see us twice.
Amazing.
They came to see us in York, didn't they, about a month ago? And we were down in Swindon, weren't we, last year? We were doing the meet and greet, and AJ sort of said, come on, we speak to these. We had a family coming from Brazil. Yeah.
Wow.
They said, well, we follow you on Facebook. We thought we'd come and see you. So they jumped on a plane and came from Brazil to Swindon.
Well, you must be doing something right, mustn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have another song now from your show at the Chelmsford Theatre last year. This time it's a travelling Wilbury song. It's Heading for the Light. Now, I've got to ask you something here, because those recordings are exceptional. Who is responsible for those?
That would be me.
That
Dave.
would be Dave. Yeah, well, you're a bit of a dab hand at all this, aren't you?
I've had plenty of practice.
You have, because you run your own recording studio, and you've been music is your life, isn't it? Basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Certainly for the last 25 years. It has been, yeah.
So, did you have to do a lot of work on those, or were they?
No. What you hear is basically There are no overdubs or anything.
No.
That was basically the performance that we gave on the night. The rest of it then is just clearing up the,
Yeah,
the
okay.
sound of the audio.
So, as I said, it's a sort of an authentic sound of what you're going to hear at a George Harrison Project show, isn't it? Yeah, okay, brilliant. Oh, full of admiration for you. Now, bit of fun. We're going to have a bit of fun here because you tell us a lot about George, but I want to test your knowledge, you see.
Not just me, is it?
What I've got here is a bit of a quiz, and I tried to make some of them really easy and some of them really hard. So we'll see how you get on, shall we? Right, now, so anyone can answer. Here's an easy one. We'll start with a gentle one. What legendary guitarist played the iconic solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps?
Eric Clapton.
Yes, Eric. Well done, AJ.
Well,
Yes.
in our case, it's AJ.
Yeah, I knew you'd know that one. Here's one you might have to be a bit careful with. George Harrison was the first Beatle to release a solo album. What was the title of the album?
See, well, the obvious answer there would be All Things Must Pass. But we
Absolutely.
had Wonderwall before that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Wasn't there the electronic?
The electronic,
Yeah.
the electronic sounds, was it?
Yeah,
There was two
that
of
was
them.
before.
That's
Before Wonderwall, but yeah, there was two in '68, I think, which
Right. So
released.
Wonderwall was pretty off the wall, wasn't it? Really?
yeah, I think they
So
both
was
were.
Electronic Sound.
Yeah, electronic sounds were exactly
yeah,
the same.
yeah. Have you ever considered sort of playing a few excerpts from that?
Surprisingly enough, no, we haven't.
Fair
I
enough.
think if we drop a wrong note in, that's where we're going to say it's come from.
That's a good idea. That's a brilliant idea. All right, question 3. What pseudonym did George Harrison use when writing the song Badge with Eric Clapton for Cream?
Well, I've just been told.
Yes. on your phone.
Is it L'Angelo Mysterioso?
That's the one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that. Never. No.
The only fact I knew about Badge was that it was originally called. Well, it was called that by Eric Clapton wrong because he read the word bridge wrong, and he thought the song was called Badge.
Oh, well, there you go.
So there
There's
you go.
a bit more information. You see.
There you go. So at least I've given you that.
Amazing, yeah. Number 4. What was the name of the charitable concert organised by George Harrison in 1971? That's an easy one.
Concert of Bangladesh.
Yes, yeah. Okay, drug reference here. Question 5. What Beatles song did George Harrison write that was inspired by a visit to the dentist and LSD?
Right. Well, I'm going to hazard a guess here because the LSD and the dentist thing happened round the dentist's house, apparently.
That's yeah.
So him and John Lennon had LSD dropped into their coffee.
That's right.
And they went out for a rather wonderful trip afterwards, apparently, in the true sense of the word. I think it might be I Want to Tell You.
Right. Well, I've got a different answer to
Oh,
that.
that's interesting.
But all of this is from artificial intelligence. So
It's Yellow Submarine.
no. The answer they gave, or it gave, was "It's All Too Much."
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it could
Well, that
be.
makes sense,
Well-
doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, that was in '65, wasn't it? They had that. Yeah. Well, that was my guess.
Bearing in mind it's from AI, so
Yeah.
I think we need to be flexible on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was released a lot later.
Number 6. In which film did George Harrison make a cameo as Mr. Papadopoulos?
Life for Brian.
Yeah. Oh, right, only 4 left. What was the name of George Harrison's estate on Henley-on-Thames, which became his primary residence?
Friar Park.
That's right. You've bought it now, Gary, haven't you?
Yeah, we're sort of all dipped in a few quid each.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Which George Harrison solo song features lyrics reflecting on the illusion of the material world? There could be a couple of answers to this, I think.
Well, living in the material world, I
Yeah.
thought would have been one. Anybody got
Well,
another
we've
answer?
got Beware of
I
Darkness.
think it might be
Beware
Beware
of
of Darkness.
That is the answer I've got.
Right.
Beware of Darkness. Yep. What was the name of the supergroup Harrison joined in the late 1980s?
Travelling Wilburys.
That's right. And what a supergroup, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. I feel cheated by them because Volume 2, they called Volume 3, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did.
Yeah, well, that was George's idea.
Well, I've been looking for Volume 2 forever.
I've done exactly the same. When I went out looking for the second album when it came out, I thought, where's Volume 3 come from?
In a way, that's typical George, isn't it,
Yeah,
from what we
yeah.
know about him, yeah. Okay, final question then. What legal battle over alleged plagiarism did George Harrison lose relating to one of his most famous songs.
Well, that's my sweet Lord, isn't it?
He's so fine.
Yeah, he's so fine.
It's interesting that it says here that it was ruled to have subconsciously copied the chiffons He's So Fine. So it seems that it's agreed generally it wasn't something that he did on purpose. It was kind
Just
of...
the melody and the chords and the structure and the
Yeah.
timing. Apart from that,
Fantastic.
Mind you, he got his own back. I think he bought the rights to the original He's So Fine, didn't
Oh,
he?
right,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
After it
brilliant.
went through Colt. So, good on
Wow.
George.
Well, I think I can definitely give you the award of mastermind level George Harrison. So well
Collectively,
done, lads. Well done. Okay, more music now then, and a track featuring the ukulele, one of George's favourite instruments. It's The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. I love that song, and so did the audience by the sound of that. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, there he is. That's Gary saying thank you very much indeed. Well done. So, do you love the ukulele as much as George?
Yeah, I think we're getting used to it because it's me and Al that
Absolutely, yeah.
both play it. We play it jointly through most. I mean, Al does one or two tracks on your own, don't you, with it when I'm playing guitar? But yeah, we do. We've really found that's a real fun instrument. And
Yeah.
it lends itself. I mean, that particular part of the show, I think, has always been a real highlight from the audience's
Yeah,
perspective because they
yeah.
do love to see us change instruments onto these little ukuleles. And they're going to play them now.
Absolutely.
Right now. So
Well, it's all part of the cocktail of different sounds.
it
that
is, and
you
that's
know.
what it's all about,
Yeah.
and the musical styles as well. Because you'll go from playing a Wilbury tune to playing something from 1933,
Yeah,
which is an old
yeah.
Cab Calloway number, which is what that is. So.
Yeah.
But Andy Fairweather said when they went to Japan, he couldn't quite believe that George took 2 ukuleles with him on the plane.
Well, I was under the impression the ukulele was quite easy to play, so I bought one. Waste of time. Well, thanks so much for popping in to see us today, guys. Always a pleasure. I'm sure it's going to be another great show at the Chelmsford Theatre on the 10th of July. Give us some details how you can get tickets and how people can get in touch with you, yeah?
Yep, sure. So the tickets are available from the Chelmsford Theatre, which is www.chelmsfordtheatre.co.uk, or box office. Can I give the number?
Yeah, please do.
01245 606 505. Tickets are £27 or £25 concessions, and there's a £2 booking fee. But the booking fee is regardless of however many tickets you buy. So why buy 2 when you can buy 22?
Indeed.
And it's still £2 booking fee.
What a salesman, I like it. Yeah. And what about, you've got some other upcoming shows, haven't you? Do you want to give us an idea of where you go?
Yeah, so that Chelmsford show is July the 10th, but before then, this coming weekend, we're in Diss at the Corn Hall. And tickets for that, there's a link for those from our website, which is www.thegeorgeharrisonproject.com.
Right.
And we're also on Facebook as well as the George Harrison Project.
Yeah. You're pretty easy to find. Just Google the George Harrison
The George
Project.
Harrison
Yeah,
Project,
you'll
you'll
find
find us.
Yeah. Well, it's been absolutely brilliant seeing you today, guys. And we've got one more song now. It's the Beatles cover, and it's the one that was only released on the 2nd of November in 2023. Dubbed the last Beatles song, the single reached #1 on the UK singles chart. So why did you decide to include this on your show?
Right, well, basically the way it came about was it was actually Phil's idea.
Right.
Just at the point of the single being released, we kind of thought it would be a good idea to include something new that was being talked about. There's a lot of promotion behind it,
Yeah.
what had happened with AI, with John's voice. And so we thought, yeah, okay, let's give it a crack. We might get a bit of mileage out there. But the November it came out, I remember we were really busy with shows. We had shows back to back, so we had no rehearsal time.
Right.
So what Phil done, he drafted us out a very rough kind of arrangement. We all sat at home individually,
Right.
played our parts, worked it all out. We had a show in Ipswich, which was our last show of the year that year, and we tried it in the sound check twice, and then put it in the show that night.
Wow.
And it's been there ever since.
Wow. That's
As I
amazing.
say, we thought we'd get a few months out of it while it was in the charts and riding high, but it's been so popular, we've just kept it in the set list.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, it's a good song. And it must have been quite a lot of orchestral arrangement in that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I found the string recordings online that Giles Martin, George's son, had done, so I was trying to imitate those as well as piano, and we've got usually 5-part harmony between us, which is a lovely sound, and it really makes you know, a difference to the audience. And yeah, just putting it together really.
And the key thing about it, why we included it from our point of view, was it had George's final guitar part that led to anything relating to the Beatles. Although there was a lot made of John's voice being brought back to life, really, for all intents and purposes, George is actually on there as well, because the guys had tried to record it in the 90s when they'd done Free as a Bird. So that was our reason for putting it in.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well, we're going to hear it now. Thank you so much. Have a brilliant show. Well, all your shows are brilliant, but at Chelmsford, have a great show. And it's really nice seeing you guys again. Well done. Right, here it is, the George Harrison Project, and Now and Then.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Community radio for Brentwood and Billericay. This is Phoenix FM.